Hello and happy Friday, everyone. I'm Sarah Chatello, SassyPaperCrafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today we are going to be making this card using the A Cut Above stamp set from the January to June mini catalog. First, I just want to say hello. If you're watching me live right now on Facebook, please leave a comment saying hello. Let me know you're here. You might also be watching the replay or watching this on YouTube right now. I'd love to see your comments. Let me know what you think of this card. Just say hello. Before we get started, I just wanted to go over two things. The first is our Connect, Craft, and Collect, which is a $25 bonus for any order over $250. So if you'd like to host a party with me, please contact me. I'd be happy to help you do that. And then the second thing is the last chance product sale. So this is products from the January to June mini catalog. They are up to 50% off. This one is not discounted, but it is retiring on June 30th. So if you would like to get this stamp set, I have put a link in the description of this video. And so let's just get started with our project today. So the first thing I have is, before we get into our card base and everything, we're going to do our stamping. Let me move our card out of the way. And this is the A Cut Above stamp set. There's two really cute images to color in here and lots of wonderful sentiments. So we're going to be using the guy cutting his grass here. And I'm going to use an E-block. Hi, Tammy. So glad you can make it. And a little bit of the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And with big stamps like this, I just like to put the ink directly onto the stamp, just so I know I'm getting it all. I'll stamp him about there. I want to leave a little room because I will be cutting him out with the rectangle stitch dies. So I want to make sure I have enough room for that rectangle to get stitched all the way around. And then for the sentiment, we're going to be using the "You Make the World Look Better and the Grass Look Greener." I'm going to put that on a B block. And I'm also going to be using the rectangle dies to cut this out, so it doesn't, being centered and all that doesn't really matter. And then before I put the stamp set away, we are going to stamp the inside of our card. And I just used the Happy Father's Day from this set. And I don't know about you, but I have kind of a hard time making guy cards, as I call them. A lot of the products Stampin' Up! Has, they have great things for guys, but a lot of it's kind of girly. So I have a hard time coming up with guy cards. Stamp sets like this make it a lot easier. I'm just going to mount that. I'm using a H block for this one. Put these away. And Tuxedo Black ink again. And then I just have a piece of basic white that is 5 1/4 by 4 for the inside. And then I did do a little decorating on the inside. So I used a piece of the Designer Series paper that we're going to be using, and I did some clouds and a sun in there, and I'll show you how I did that. So for the sun, I believe that looks like Daffodil Delight to me. So we're going to get that out. And the clouds, I used Smoky Slate. Smoky Slate. And Daffodil Delight. And the clouds and the sun also come in that set. There's also a little bird that I thought was cute. Get that B block back out for the sun. And then a C block for the clouds. I did the sun first, just so I could see where I wanted my clouds to go. I'm having a hard time closing my ink pad. There we go. sometimes the ink pads you don't use very often or get stiff on you. There's the cloud there and there. So like Bob Ross, a happy little cloud. I know he says happy little tree, but every time I do those clouds, I think a happy little cloud right there. I'm gonna clean these off quick and then we can start coloring. So for the skin tone, if you Google Stampin' Blend skin tone chart, there are some great demonstrators out there who have came up with great combinations for skin tones. So for this one, I think I went with ivory that comes in the ivory and bronze blends combo pack, and also a little crumb cake. So let me get my blends out. I'm just gonna put the whole tray here. So this one is ivory. I'm gonna start with this one. And like I said, just go to Google, type in Stampin' Blend skin tone chart, and you'll get some great ideas for different skin tones, different colors you can use. There was ones I didn't even think of, like adding petal pink and things like that. And we're just gonna color. And this is one of my favorite things to do, color. It's find it very relaxing. And it's super quick and easy, but it's also kind of satisfying. And here I have light crumb cake. I'm just gonna go over, give them a little shading. And ideally, you would wait for the blends to dry before you went back in. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. And then I took Balmy Blue for his shirt. So we're going to start with light. I find it easier to darken things than it is to lighten them. So I always start with the light one. And then I can always go back in and make things darker, do shading, whatever. And the colors, everything I use today will be in a blog post that will be up later today. And I did use, I don't have it, I gotta grab it quick. I use Basic Black. They do have a Basic Black Stampin' Blend. I did use that for parts of the lawnmower and his little Walkman in there. I kind of found it a little bit too dark, so I didn't use the dark Basic Blend. So I'm just gonna go over this part with the light. See how dark that is? And then I did this part of the lawnmower in Basic Black, but it will lighten up as it dries. But I definitely didn't want to go in with the dark and then take away all that detail. So if you don't have Basic Black, Smoky Slate works just fine, because that tends to be a little bit dark too. That's what I'm using here, is the light Smoky Slate. And then sometimes these details get really tiny. So when that happens, I flip over to the pen side of the Stampin' Blend, because I find I can get better detail that way. So then I'm going to go back in with my light crumb cake. That's ivory. I don't want that one. I need this one. And I kind of made them have khakis. Thought crumb cake was good for that. And then I left the cups of the pads uncolored. So I'm just going to go in with the dark crumb cake for that. Just to add a little bit of like dimension depth. And then I did Smoky Slate for the shoes. And then again, I leave the bottom, leave it undone, so that way I can go in with the dark Smoky Slate. And then we'll go in with the dark Balmy Blue over his shirt, because that should be dry. I just wanted to get some of the shadow in there. And then I just go back over the whole thing again in the light balmy blue. And then for his hair, I went with dark crumb cake. Let's go back over the cuff of the pants again. And then light smoky slate for the lawnmower bag. And then dark smoky slate on the tires. And then I used Poppy Parade for his hat. So we're going to start with the light. I went outside the lines a little bit, but that's okay. And then I did forget the back part of his hair there. I also did light Poppy Parade for the lawnmower. And then for the grass, some light granny apple green. Now we are cutting this out, so I kind of went all the way to the bottom because it'll be cut out. So I just wanted to make sure I got everything where I wanted it, and then I went off to the edges a little bit because the rectangle I use is a little bit longer. And then while that's drying, let's go in with the dark Poppy Parade and fill in just the brim of the hat and the lawnmower. I'm just doing this to create different dimensions of color. And then now we can go in with the dark granny apple green. And I just went over the grass here. And it also kind of hides, I went outside the line a little bit, so it kind of hides that. And then just one little pass to blend it in with the light. And that's why they're called blends, because you can blend with it. Okay, let me get these blends out of the way, and then we will die cut our rectangle. So like I said, I have the rectangle stitch framework. These are old, but obviously I have an old envelope here. I've had these forever, but they've carried over so long. So good job, Stampin' Up. And I used the third from the inside for him. Did I? Let me see. Let me double check. Nope, I used the fourth one from the inside. Yep, that's better. And then for the sentiment, I used just this one single rectangle there. So let me grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So here I have the standard platform, number 1, and then the thin die adapter, I don't know, platform, number 2, and then a cutting pad. And we will put down our images and our sentiment, and then just kind of line that up. And I did that kind of crooked, but it's okay because I can make the rectangle a little crooked when it cuts out. And then the top cutting plate. And just run that through. Sorry, my die skidded a little bit, so I'm going to have to run it back through this way. and fix that. So if you want to prevent that from happening, see how it slid over? If you want to prevent that, you can always use a piece of washi tape or a Post-it note to stick that down. So there's our first rectangle. And I'm just going to line that up again. And try one more time. And there, everything stayed put this time. And then here is our sentiment. So now we are ready to assemble. Grab the pieces here. So for the card base, I have a piece of Poppy Parade that is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm just going to use my bone folder to burnish that edge. And then I have a piece of basic black that is 5 1/4 by 4, and a piece of the Poppy, it's the Bright Designer Series paper, 6 by 6. This is Poppy Parade, and it's two-sided. There's 4 designs, I believe. We're going to go ahead and use this one, and this is cut at 5 by 3 3/4. And like I said, there will be a blog post up at 1:30-ish, we'll say, maybe before that. Probably 1 o'clock, we'll say. I'm just using my seal. Oh, before I do that, though, I am going to use a piece of this twine from the Baker's Twine Essential Pack. This is basic black. I just wanted a little something to add like an embellishment to. You could also use maybe like the matte black dots. Make sure it's long enough. And I like that they have, a twine essentials pack, and you get all 4 for one price. So because I already stuck my seal down, I'm just gonna wrap that around. Add that to the basic black layer, and then some seal on the back of the basic black, and add that to the Poppy Parade. And then for the inside, I also cut a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 inch strip of the Designer Series paper. And normally I would use combo for this, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and use my seal and hope I don't put it on crooked. Looks good to me. So that's our inside. And if you are local, I will be at the Auburn Walk in the Park craft show tomorrow from 10 to 4. I would love to meet you. Come on out and say hello. And so now let's take our rectangles and get some dimensionals. I'm going to put 5 on this one. And I thought about putting the sentiment up in like the right top hand corner of this. I just didn't like how it looked. It was kind of, I mean, you could do that. I just didn't like how it looked. So I'm gonna put mine in the bottom corner. Down here. And that is it. Actually, I didn't color. Hold on. I didn't color the little grass flakes like I did the other one. So I'm just gonna do that quick. And then that is it. There. So pretty simple, pretty easy. If you want this stamp set, I suggest you get it before it's gone. It will be gone June 30th or while supplies last. So thank you so much for watching today, and I hope to see you guys next week. Have a good weekend.